Welcome to the Path of Truth channel, where we explore the deeper aspects of life and the profound journeys of the soul. Today's video is about understanding a subtle yet incredibly powerful action: walking away. This might sound simple, but it holds a transformative force, especially when it comes to relationships that no longer serve us. So, before we dive deep into the topic, make sure you take a moment to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below with the number 99. Trust me, this is something that will resonate with you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts as we unfold this powerful journey together. Sometimes, walking away is not just an action, it's an act of immense power. It's not about abandoning others, but about choosing yourself. It's funny, isn't it? How stepping out of someone's life can, in fact, give you a greater sense of control over the situation than staying ever could. The world we live in constantly urges us to fight for everything, to hold on, to explain, to justify our actions. Yet, it takes a different kind of strength to simply walk away, to say nothing, and to let silence be your voice. There's a truth in this that many overlook. Research reveals that people often regret not leaving toxic relationships sooner. It's not the end itself that keeps them up at night, but the endless what could have been. When you walk away without a word, you leave a void, a mark that stays far longer than any dramatic exit or argument could. It's not just that you've stepped out of their life, you've stepped into their mind. You've become a lingering thought, a question mark in their existence, haunting them with all the possibilities they'll never experience. And the best part is, you did it all without lifting a finger. You didn't have to try. Let's break this down. When you left, you didn't just walk away. You left a void, an emptiness that no one else can fill. It wasn't merely your physical presence that was gone. It was the energy you brought, the way you commanded attention without even trying. They may not have realized it at first, but now it's undeniable. The space you once occupied is still there, untouched. It's like a room where the air has been sucked out. Conversations seem less sharp, the mood feels duller. People around them are starting to feel it, but they can't quite put their finger on it. They don't know what's changed, but they can sense something's different. They feel the absence, and it's love. What they don't understand is that it's not just the space you left behind, it's the reminder of everything they've lost. And more importantly, everything they can never recreate. It's not just the people closest to you who are affected by your absence. There's a ripple effect. The air feels thinner, and everyone around them feels the weight of what has been taken from them. They lie awake at night, not just missing your company, but struggling to understand how one person could leave and take so much with them. Your exit wasn't just a goodbye, it was a lasting imprint. An indelible mark no one can erase, and no one will ever be able to fill that void. But here's where it gets deeper. Their obsession with you, their inability to stop thinking about you, is not really about who you are as a person. No, it's about what you represented. It's about everything they could never be. When you walked away, what haunted them wasn't just the loss of your presence, but the uncomfortable truth that they'll never measure up to you. You didn't just outgrow them or the situation, you exposed the gap between who they are and who they secretly wish they could be, and that's the source of their restless nights. It's not that they miss you per se, it's that being around you made them confront their own limitations. You were a living reminder of all their missed opportunities, their inability to rise above mediocrity. They were evolving, growing, and moving forward, while they were stuck in the same place, unable to break free from their own patterns. They now see the truth. They were never in your league, and that truth is unbearable. Every time they think about you, it's not just the memories of what they've lost, it's the stark realization that being around you made them feel inadequate. Your mere presence illuminated their insecurities without you ever saying a word. You didn't need to point it out. Your energy, your growth, your light, it exposed everything they wish they could be but aren't. Without you there, all their distractions are gone, and they are left alone to face themselves. They can no longer run from the truth that you so effortlessly revealed. It's not just that they're up all night thinking about you. They're up all night because they can't escape the version of themselves they were forced to confront when you were around. They now understand that they were chasing something unattainable, not because you were too good for them, but because you were everything they wish they could be. Your departure wasn't just the end of a chapter, it was a wake-up call, a loud, clear signal that they can't ignore. You didn't just leave them behind, you showed them the harsh reality they were desperately avoiding. And now, they are left trying to figure out how they'll ever catch up to someone who's already outgrown them. They can't help but think about you constantly, and the truth they're now forced to face is too much to bear. But it doesn't stop there. You didn't just leave, you broke the script. You disrupted everything they thought they knew. People are used to predictable outcomes, especially in relationships. They expect things to follow a certain path. Arguments, reconciliation, closure, maybe even a dramatic apology. But you didn't give them that. You broke the narrative by simply choosing to walk away without so much as a second glance. They were expecting a reaction from you, an emotional response, something they could hold on to. But you didn't give them that. Instead, you chose silence. And that silence is what keeps them up at night. They can't move on because they're still stuck, trying to figure out what just happened. It's as if the story suddenly stopped, leaving them confused and frustrated. They're replaying every moment, trying to figure out what they missed, why you didn't react the way they thought you would. In breaking the script, you left them with no plan, no resolution. They don't know how to handle someone who doesn't play by the same rules. They thought they had control. They thought they could manipulate the situation, get a response from you, but you didn't give them the satisfaction. Now they're left with nothing, no closure, no emotional outburst to cling to. Instead, they are left with silence and they don't know how to deal with it. Here's the most profound part. You didn't need to make a scene to get your point across. You mastered something few people can: emotional minimalism. While everyone around you was busy making noise, being dramatic, desperate for attention, sharp, controlled, you didn't need grand gestures to make an impact. Your strength came from restraint. And that's what gets to them now. It's not what you said when you left, it's what you didn't say, what you chose not to show. They were expecting an emotional breakdown, anger, hurt, vulnerability, anything that would show they still had some power over you. But you didn't give them that. You kept your calm. You walked away, leaving them to clean up their own mess. This is what they can't stop thinking about. Why didn't you react the way they thought you would? Why didn't you give them that emotional reaction they were hoping for? What is it about you that made you immune to their manipulations? Your ability to walk away without giving them anything to hold on to has left them obsessed. They can't figure out what they missed, and that's what keeps them awake at night. You may think that when you walked away, you were just choosing peace for yourself, but what you didn't realize is that your decision sent ripples far beyond what you could have imagined. They are still trapped in those ripples, unable to escape the waves you created with your absence. And while you moved on, leaving behind a chapter that no longer served you, they found themselves unable to let go of what they lost. It's not just the loss of your presence that haunts them, it's the realization that your absence revealed truths about themselves that they couldn't deny. In the moments after you left, they tried to convince themselves that it didn't matter, that they were fine, that they'd be just fine without you. But the reality started to sink in, and with each passing day, they couldn't help but feel the weight of your absence. It wasn't just that they missed you. It was that they missed something deeper, something they never truly understood when you were there. They thought they could take you for granted, that you'd always be there no matter how they treated you. And now they realize how wrong that your absence wasn't just a simple void. It was a presence in itself. You left them with something more than an empty space to fill. You left them with questions that they couldn't answer, emotions they couldn't process, and a profound sense of loss that they couldn't shake. And the more they replayed everything in their minds, the more they realized something they were too blind to see before. You were never what they thought you were. And now that you've gone, they have to live with the crushing weight of knowing that they failed to recognize it. It's this truth, the truth that they underestimated you, that keeps them up at night. They spent all that time thinking they knew who you were, thinking they had you figured out. But now, with you gone, they see just how wrong they were, and they can't stop replaying their mistakes, their misjudgments. They can't stop thinking about all the moments when they should have done better, been better. And now that you've walked away, they have to face the consequences of their own actions. They're haunted by the fact that they had you in their life, and they let you slip through their fingers without even realizing it. But what truly shakes them to their core, what keeps them awake in the quiet hours of the night, is that they can never go back. They can never undo the damage. No matter how hard they try to change the past, they know that they've lost something irreplaceable, and they know that they only have themselves to blame. You were the one who showed them the truth that their complacency, their arrogance, their inability to truly see you for who you are, cost them more than they can ever understand. You didn't just walk away. You left them with a powerful lesson. A lesson that they didn't ask for but desperately needed. You showed them that real strength isn't about staying and fighting for something that no longer serves you. Real strength is about knowing when to leave, knowing when to walk away, and having the courage to do it. You left without any fanfare, without seeking validation or approval. You simply left, and in doing so, you took back your power and reclaimed your peace. And now, they're left in the wreckage of their own mistakes, trying to figure out how to piece it all back together. They can't sleep because they're too busy thinking about what could have been. They're haunted by the endless possibilities of what might have happened if only they had made different choices. If only they had treated you better. If only they had seen you for the incredible person you truly are. It's not the loss that stings. It's the regret of never having fully understood what they had. And now they'll never get that chance again. The more they think about it, the more they realize that you were never the one who was lacking. It was always them. They were the ones who couldn't measure up. And that realization is what eats at them the most. You became the standard they could never reach. They thought they were on the same level as you, but now they see the truth. That you were always ahead, always evolving, always growing while they remained stagnant. They can't escape the fact that they've fallen behind, and they're stuck wondering how they can ever catch up. But no matter how hard they try to deny it, no matter how many times they try to convince themselves that they're fine without you, deep down, they know the truth. They know that you were the one who held the key to something greater, to something better. And now they're left with nothing but their own insecurities, their own failures, and a haunting sense. They can't stop thinking about you because in your absence, you became a symbol of everything they're afraid to face. You became the embodiment of the strength they wish they had, the confidence they lack, the self-worth they're too. And now no matter where they turn, no matter what they do, they can't escape the shadow of your presence. Your departure wasn't just a loss, it was a wake-up call. A call they weren't ready to answer, but now they have no choice but to face the truth, and it's that truth that keeps them up at night. Your absence has become a reflection of their own inadequacy. They see it every time they look in the mirror. They see it in their relationships, in their work, in every aspect of their lives. They see how they're stuck in the same place while you've moved on, grown and flourished. They see how they've let fear, doubt, and insecurity hold them back while you've embraced the unknown with grace and confidence. And they know that they'll never be able to measure up to the standard you set. But the hardest part for them to accept is that they'll never get the chance to rewrite their story. They'll never get the chance to do things differently, to choose vulnerability over pride, to fight for what they really wanted. They'll never get the chance to show you the love and appreciation you deserved because they let their own fears get in the way. And that's what haunts them the most, the knowledge that they've lost something they'll never get back, and the knowledge that they have no one to blame but themselves. So as they lie awake at night, consumed by the weight of their own regrets, they wonder, will they ever find peace? Will they ever find someone who can fill the space you left behind? Will they ever find the courage to do what you did? To walk away when something no longer serves them, to claim their own power and to move forward with confidence? Or will they forever be stuck in the past, haunted by the ghost of what? This is their reality now, and they'll have to live with it. But for you, it's just another chapter in your story. You've moved on, and you're not looking back. You've embraced your own journey, your own path, and nothing can take that from you. So as they continue to wrestle with their own regrets, remember this: you are not their story. You are your own, and no matter how much they try to hold on to the past, they can never take that away from you. If this resonates with you, if you've ever had to walk away and leave behind something that no longer served you, I invite you to comment 99 and share your story. Join our community at Path of Truth, where we embrace growth, empowerment, and the courage it takes to forge your own path. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. There's so much more to discover on this journey together. When you decide to leave someone behind, it's not just the physical act of walking away that stays with them. It's the profound silence you create in your absence. That silence becomes a presence in itself, something that lingers long after the goodbye has been said. It's the space between the words that truly makes an impact. The moment you leave, you take with you all the noise, all the distractions, and suddenly they are left in a quiet void. It's not just that you're no longer around, it's that the emptiness you leave behind forces them to confront what was once avoided. In your absence, they no longer have anything to focus on but themselves. They may try to move on quickly, to distract themselves with new people or activities, but deep down, there's a persistent echo of your departure. It's not the kind of echo that fades with time. It's the kind that gets louder, more insistent. As the days go on, your absence becomes a mirror, one that reflects back to them everything they tried to avoid or ignore while you were there. Without you there to focus on, to blame, to pin their frustrations on, they are left with no choice but to look inward. In that silence, in that stillness, they are forced to see things about themselves they were never ready to confront. They may see their own insecurities, their own flaws, or their own mistakes, and that can be a terrifying realization. It's much easier to live with distractions, to fill up the gaps with noise, than it is to face the uncomfortable truths lurking within. But your decision to leave has made it impossible for them to avoid that confrontation anymore. And this is where the power of your departure lies. You didn't have to say anything, you didn't have to explain yourself. Your mere absence has already begun a process of reflection for them. They are now wrestling with their own emotions, their own regrets, and in doing so, they are faced with the truths they had been running from. And no matter how much time passes, they will always be left with that space you once occupied, that silence you left behind, and the questions they have to answer about themselves. It's a realization that can't be easily forgotten. In a world that thrives on external approval, where validation has become a currency in many of our interactions, your ability to walk away without a single word cuts through the noise like a sharp blade. In a society where people are constantly looking for reassurance, whether it's through likes, comments, or even the constant need to please others, you've done something radical. You've chosen silence. You've chosen to leave without seeking approval, without begging for anyone's understanding. Your exit wasn't just about leaving a situation or person. It was about reclaiming your power. Your ability to walk away becomes a statement. In and of itself, it's a declaration of your independence, a testament to your self-worth. In choosing yourself over the circumstances or the people who once held a place in your life, you're saying that your peace, your dignity, your integrity, and your well-being are non-negotiable. This kind of self-respect is rare in a world where people are so often willing to compromise their boundaries for the sake of approval or validation. For you, walking away is not a weakness, but an act of strength, an affirmation of your value that requires no external confirmation. But what makes this so powerful, what makes this choice reverberate in the hearts of those left behind, is that this is a truth that many are terrified to acknowledge. It's the truth that so many choose to avoid. People are afraid to make decisions based solely on their own needs and desires. They fear the consequences of choosing themselves, the potential isolation, the judgment, the misunderstanding, the idea of walking away from situations, relationships, or environments that no longer serve them fills most people with dread. It's as though we've been conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to others' perceptions, to their approval of us, and so we stay in places that drain us. We hold on to relationships that have long since run their course, all because we fear what might happen if we let go. This fear is a collective anxiety that many carry with them, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of standing alone in our decisions, the fear of choosing ourselves above all else. We are taught from an early age that our value is found in how others see us, how others respond to it. And so when we make the brave decision to step away, when we choose to prioritize our own mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being, it can feel like a rebellion against the norms we've been conditioned to follow. But this rebellion, this choice, is not an act of defiance against anyone but ourselves. It is a reclamation of our power, a refusal to play by rules that no longer serve us. It is a courageous acknowledgement that sometimes the most loving thing we can do for ourselves is to walk away, to choose our peace over the chaos, our growth over stagnation, our happiness over the fear of being alone. And while it may leave others confused or even resentful, it also sets a powerful example. It shows that it's okay to choose yourself, to walk away when something no longer aligns with your soul, and to trust that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion of you. The more people learn to embrace this idea, the less they will fear walking away from things that drain them, the less they will fear standing alone in their choices, the less they will fear losing people, because in the end, the most important person to hold on to is yourself. You are your own anchor, your own validation, and when you make the bold decision to choose yourself, you set a standard for what true self-love looks like. But when you walked away, you shattered that fear. You walked away with a quiet, assured confidence that many will never know. You didn't need to explain yourself. You didn't need to beg for an understanding that wasn't going to come. You left, and in doing so, you gave them a lesson they didn't ask for but desperately needed. You taught them that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. You taught them that they are not entitled to your time, your energy, or your love if they don't treat it with the respect it deserves. And for that reason, they will never forget you. Not because of anything you said, not because of any final dramatic gesture, but because you refused to stay in a space that wasn't honoring your essence. But beyond the lessons you've taught them, there's an even deeper realization. They now have to face the truth of what they've lost. That's the part that haunts them. It's not just the empty space you left behind, it's the endless possibilities it's the dreams of what could have been created had they shown up differently, had they chosen you, had they recognized your worth when you were still there right in front of them. But they didn't, and now they're stuck. They're stuck in a cycle of regret, replaying every moment in their minds, wondering how they missed the opportunity of a lifetime. And the harder they try to ignore it, the more it eats away at them. They can't move on. They can't replace you, because no matter how many people they meet, how many relationships they try to start, there's something missing, and that something is you. Your departure didn't just signify an end. It was the beginning of their introspection. It forced them to question everything they thought they knew about themselves, about you, and about life in general. It made them realize that what they've been chasing isn't real fulfillment. They've been chasing validation from people who don't matter, looking for worth in places that can never truly nourish them. And then there you were, a living example of someone who had found their worth, someone who didn't need approval to move forward, someone who didn't need anything from anyone to keep evolving, to keep moving forward. And that's what terrifies them. That's the ghost that haunts them at night. But this journey, this realization, this awakening is not just about them. It's about you too. It's about your growth, your evolution, and the strength it took to walk away. You didn't just walk away from a person, a relationship, or you walked away from the fear of staying stagnant, the fear of compromising your values, the fear of losing yourself for the comfort of others. By walking away, you chose a path that many are afraid to take, and in doing so, you empowered yourself. You didn't just leave them behind. You left behind everything that no longer served you, everything that wasn't aligned with your highest good. And now, as you move forward, as you continue to grow and evolve, they are left behind, grappling with the consequences of their actions. They're trying to make sense of it all, trying to put the pieces together, but it's too late. The narrative has already been written. They've already shown you who they are, and in turn, you've shown them who you are. The difference now is that you are no longer defined by their opinions, by their validation, or by their approval. You've broken free from the chains of dependence and insecurity, and you've entered a new chapter of your life where you are the author of your own story. You don't need anyone to tell you what's possible for you. You know your worth. And that, above all, is what makes your departure so powerful. But while they struggle to understand, to make sense of the choices they've made and the life they could have had with you, you've already moved on. You've already stepped into the next phase of your journey, one where you are not waiting for anyone's permission or approval. You are not bound by the need to explain yourself or justify your decisions. You are free, and that freedom is a reflection of your inner strength. In the end, this isn't just about them. It's about you and the power you've unlocked within yourself. It's about your ability to recognize your worth and choose to walk away from situations that no longer serve your highest good. It's about the strength it takes to stand firm in your truth, even when others don't understand it. And it's about the realization that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. So as they lie awake at night, trying to figure out how they lost you, remember this. You didn't lose anything. You gained everything. You gained your power. You gained your freedom. You gained the clarity that comes with knowing who you are and what you deserve. And that is something that no one can ever take from you. To everyone watching this, if this message resonates with you, I invite you to reflect on your own journey. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt the need to stay, to compromise your values, to seek approval from someone who didn't truly appreciate you? And what would it feel like if you chose to walk away, not out of anger, but out of self-respect? What would it feel like if you walked away from situations that drain you and stepped into the life that is waiting for you? Your story is not over. It's only just begun. And as you continue to walk your path, remember this: the greatest power you have is the ability to choose yourself. Never forget that, because once you do, everything else will fall into place. If this resonates with you, I encourage you to comment 99 below and share your thoughts. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the Path of Truth channel. Together, we will continue to explore these important topics of growth, empowerment, and the strength it takes to walk away when necessary. Thank you for being here, for being part of this journey, and for choosing yourself. Let's keep moving forward with courage, confidence, and grace.